Did Drake just beat Michael Jackson's record? Technically, yes, but technically, no. So we got this story right here where everybody was coming out and saying Drake has beaten Michael Jackson's record for number one. First of all, no matter how you slice it, at the end of the day, Drake has a lot of number one records. So we're going to give him a round of applause for that. We're going to give him a round of applause for that. That's a pop stat. That's not really a hip hop stat, but facts. He has hip hop songs that's made it. Facts. Now, what that is saying is not what people are saying. And the way things have kind of been gamified a little bit, I'm here to break that down. Now, basically what I'm saying is, did Drake beat this technically? Yes. It's more about what you're using with that information to say. So we got this lady Couture right here who broke this down in a way. Shout out to her TikTok. And I had to skip a little bit because I'm not gonna lie, her first couple of minutes is her just dropping straight slander. And I'm being fair here. I want to be fair here. So hit that thumbs up button because we're gonna really get into it. And y'all really playing with Michael Jackson's name. Hit that thumbs up button if you're tired of people playing with Michael Jackson's name, bro. That movie, 800,000 right now. Come on, hold on, keep going.
But look, solo hits, and this is including with the Jackson 5.
Okay.
Huh? 17 total number one hits. 17. Okay. 17. Who the fuck is working at Billboard? That's what I need to know because they need to be fired.
She ain't having it.
17. Drake, 14. Solo, number one hits, 11. Collaborations, 2. Jackson 5, number one hits, 4.
Hold on, I'm gonna get to talking because I got a lot to say with this stat because I didn't even shout out to her for actually bringing up this chart because this chart is a little. Hold on, let me ISO this so y'all really see what she's talking about.
I'm sorry, he surpassed who?
I want to give a big shout out to everybody who's been grabbing the Hip Hop Is My Bias shirts. They've been going so crazy, so absolutely insane, that I decided to now make the Hip Hop Is My Bias hoodies because I had a bunch of people asking me to make hoodies and I was thinking, well, summer's coming up. Nobody in Earth will be cold ever again. And I was wrong. So go grab them. Link is in the pinned comment or go to fromthevillage.us. Now, let's be fair. Altogether, he technically surpassed him if you subtract the Jackson 5, right? Now, I got some stuff to say about that too, but I'll even give that to anybody who goes, you can't count the Jackson 5. I'm going to tell you why it's weird not to count the Jackson 5, depending on what you're trying to use this stat to say. But even without using the Jackson 5 stat, I still look at this as a weird stat, depending on what you're trying to say. So let's keep it going.
He surpassed who? Because majority of his hits were solos. You only have 5.
Okay, let's stop right there because that's what I wanted to point out. So, if you're using, because this is a weird way of using the stat, right? Because they're saying Drake. If you're saying Drake is hip hop's Michael Jackson, if you're saying Drake is the next Michael Jackson, if you're saying Drake is Michael Jackson, their legacies are comparable or anything like that. That is all cap. It's nowhere near close. It's even in this statistic that you're looking at. Now, look at this closely, right? So you're saying do not include Jackson 5 songs because that was a group, right? I'll tell you why that's weird not to include them a little bit later, but okay, let's throw that out, right? Because the reason why you're saying that is you're saying it's unfair because it was a group. It was a collaborative effort. This wasn't technically just him, right? All right. So then my question is, if we're removing the Jackson 5 because it was collaborative efforts, which doesn't make sense because nobody, especially if you're trying to talk about their legacies and what they do, nobody, if you're talking about legacies, then you're talking about their whole, what they put into the game. Nobody would remove I Want You Back from Michael Jackson's legacy. If you're doing that, you're doing it just so you can handicap him. Bro, if you go to the Michael Jackson 1 show, which is the biggest Michael Jackson show right now, you go watch it. They play I Want You Back. I don't think I've ever seen a Michael Jackson tribute, Michael Jackson, but that don't put the Jackson 5 stuff in there. But okay, let's throw those out. So why is it that you throw out the Jackson 5, but then you leave all these other collaborations and you go, well, it's different because the Jackson 5 was like a group. They made whole albums together. 21 and Drake have this whole album together. This album that Jimmy Cooks is on is a collaborative album. They're basically a group for this album. They went out and did the rollouts together. They're basically a group for the album. So that's weird. But then here's the part that even if you throw all that stuff to the side, you're talking about a person who has 11 solo hits. 11 by himself. Now remember, the same reason you're throwing out the Jackson 5 stuff, because you're throwing out the Jackson 5 stuff to make Mike's case weaker, which I can respect, cool. But let's go to solo hits then. You're saying a man with 11 solo hits is comparative to a man with 5. Okay, cool. So let's say, no, okay, but count the collaborations. So if you're counting the collaborations, then you're not saying Drake is bigger than Michael Jackson. You're not even saying Drake compares to Michael Jackson. You're not saying their legacies are close. You're not saying he's hip-hop's Michael Jackson. What you're actually saying is Drake plus Rihanna plus Wizkid and Kyla plus Future and Young Thug plus Thames plus 21 Savage plus SZA plus J. Cole and Janice are like Michael Jackson. That's what you're saying. And that's a way different. Because if we're just going solo for solo, he has 6 less. So what are, like, okay, if you say that Drake and his collaborative efforts are like Michael Jackson number ones wise, I'll let that cook. But that you're not going to say that because you want to give that entire accolade to Drake. Why would you give that entire accolade to Drake when the majority of how he got to that accolade was with other people? Drake is like a band. So you can't use Jackson 5, but I can use this band. Nigga, there is 2 Future songs on here. There's 2 songs with Future, nigga. And at the end of the day, is Drake, Future, and 21 Savage not a goddamn Jackson 3 with how much collaborative efforts they do? So it is weird. Like I said, you can have your moment and try to, when you don't really look at it close and act like there's some closeness, but there's not. And we're not even talking about cultural impact because there's nobody who's going to tell you any of the songs on the right have any of the same impact that even just Billie Jean has. Just Billie Jean. We're not even going to go into Beat It and Bad and Black or White or Dirty Diamond. Just Billie Jean, bro. So it is a stat, but it feels like one of those real paper stats that when you start looking at, it doesn't really mean anything. Because be fair, if you're going to give this accolade to Rihanna because he wouldn't have got it without Rihanna. Give it to Wizkid because he wouldn't have got it without Wizkid. Give it to Kyla because he would not have got it without Kyla. So you're talking about, let's remove any collaborative efforts. If we remove Jackson 5, cool. Let's remove all the collaborations. Because remember, all the headlines are comparing Drake as one person to Michael Jackson as one person. But if you do that, it doesn't quite look the same, does it? So I don't even really know what it means by beating this stat, but it's like Drake did not beat Michael Jackson's record. Drake and a collective of people beat Michael Jackson's record. Drake by himself isn't even halfway to Michael Jackson's record. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 11. So I don't know. I don't even know what this is saying. So the whole, that's no, nigga. I just don't. What I'm saying is just be fair. Why are you only giving Drake the accolade if Drake could not have hit that accolade without a group of people? Mike is Mike. And at the end of the day, for anybody who's listening and anybody who's questioning, anybody who's confused, there is only one Michael Jackson. And that Michael Jackson is Michael Joseph Jackson. That's his middle name, right? To be fair, there's only one Drake, too. And if you're comparing this to other rappers and stuff, yeah, but we're not. Come on now.